All right, how's it going, everyone? It's Coach Care, cryptocurrency educator, here today with the director of IDACCA, the International Digital Asset and Cryptocurrency Association, Mr. David Moorfield. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
Good seeing you as well. So, yeah, just to kind of jump into it, because people are probably very curious, what is IDACCA? What is the vision IDACCA? What is IDACCA? Where did you get the idea for IDACCA? And, why are we starting this whole organization in the first place?
Okay, so IDACCA is the International Digital Asset and Cryptocurrency Association. And basically the vision is to have a grassroots movement for an advocacy group that focuses on kind of like the common person to join in a collective voice in order to push for change in the world with cryptocurrency.
Nice. Very good. Okay, so in terms of IDACCA, like what kind of organization is it? And what ultimately are you going to try to, use IDACCA to reach? What goal are you trying to get to? What are you working toward?
So IDACCA is formed as a nonprofit in the state of Texas in the United States. And we're going to be going in kind of a 5-tiered approach, and that is education, advocacy, philanthropy, public service, and then an advisory board.
Very good. And can you kind of just give a little little light in terms of like what you're going to do in each of those facets? Just a little bit about each of them, like where you see they're going for education and advocacy, etc. Just
Sure.
A little brief note on what they would do.
Sure. So on the education side, we plan on getting word out about the virtues of cryptocurrency. Everybody knows kind of the bad stuff, the negative things. Those are the things that are pushed in the news. They don't understand that cryptocurrency could offer solutions to credit card and debit card fraud. It's my dream that one day I can go to a gas pump and not play Russian roulette when I slide my card. So that's on the education side. Now, advocacy, I see where the crypto community has a lot of fractures in it. And there's a lot of competition, which is great. But at a certain point, it becomes counterproductive when you have all this mudslinging and different projects are going in different directions. Right. So IDACCA is designed to bring everybody together to champion cryptocurrency and digital assets as a whole. And in that way, we can have some neutral ground and all work together towards mass adoption. Now, as far as the philanthropy, I think everybody would pretty much agree that cryptocurrency has a bad public image that is constantly being pushed in the narrative in the media.
No, really?
And one of the best things that we could do, even if we didn't have a bad public image, is to use cryptocurrency to show the world that we can make a positive change in the world using cryptocurrency. So, I think we would all agree that a lot of the places that will be most impacted in the shortest amount of time are going to be in third world countries and places where you have a lot of unbanked people. Yeah. And so that's also places where you can do a lot for very little. I've been involved in building some orphanages in the past. And I think if the crypto community came together and started doing some philanthropy like that, we would very quickly get the attention of people. If anything, they couldn't say bad things about us providing homes for orphaned children.
Absolutely. All right. So what does IDACCA plan to do next year?
In this next year, I've already scouted out a place in Mbaka, Kenya, which is just outside of Kisumu in the western province. I was there in January, and there's a place there that has like 68 orphans. It wouldn't take a whole lot to build them an orphanage and provide them, some education and food, things like that. while we're there, Messina University is right there in Kasumu, and it's our vision to do a conference there that's open to the public, that's free to the public, where people there can come in and learn about cryptocurrency and how it works. Kenya is a great place to do this because right now they use M-Pesa, which is an SMS texting, money transferring. It's not a program. It's basically provided by the cell phone providers there, but it's not secure in any way. And there's no way for them to go in and look at a blockchain or anything like that to see a history of payments. So it makes it a ripe soil for us to plant those seeds.
Very nice. All right. So philanthropy will be a big part of this organization, and it's nonprofit. So remember that, they're not, any money that gets raised is not going to line people's pockets like we see in some of the organizations, especially ones in the United States like the Red Cross, who generally, spend 90% of what they get. We're going to try and not do that.
I didn't go there. But, I kind of feel like there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines that wish they could do something, but they don't know exactly how.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things we could do would be to provide everybody the resources in somewhat of some direction on how to be active and use their voice to join everybody else and make a difference. And, a lot of the people that I think are very passionate about cryptocurrency, from what I'm hearing with our academic committee chair, she's the dean of a business school, and college students are all talking about cryptocurrency. They all want to get involved, but nobody's reached out to them and said, hey, we want you on board to go accomplish our goals. And this is for their generation anyway. I mean, this is really, my son, he's a sophomore in college, and this is going to be huge for his generation for sure.
Absolutely. Probably ours too. Even if we're a little bit older than our kids, it's going to be a big thing for everyone. Anyone that's going to be alive in 10 years is going to see exactly where we're going. So
for those of us who are over the age of 30,
yeah.
We're going to see a huge change, but most people over the age of 30 are going to miss out in the participation.
Yep, absolutely. They're not going to have patience enough to wait. Absolutely.
Right.
Agree. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of changes, like you talked about, IDACCA wants to change, and we're talking about changes. How are we going to change? So what are we going to do to actually make changes happen? How do we do that?
Okay, so I've actually talked to several congressmen here in the United States, and when I've asked them for their opinions on cryptocurrency, the average response is, I don't know enough to have an opinion. However, I would like to continue this discussion so that I can help form my opinion. So right now, the concrete is not dry, So we have a chance to kind of help mold that in the direction that we want it to go. There's going to be a lot of people sharing their voice on cryptocurrency as it comes up with regulations and laws. Yeah. And there are some groups out there that are doing some good work in that regard, but one of the key aspects in any kind of change is the voice of the people. And so, I've always believed that good leaders, they don't get people to believe in them, they get people to believe in themselves. And the whole goal of IDACCA is to inspire each member and give them what they need in order to be a voice on behalf of the cryptocurrency community.
Right. Okay. And so when we're talking about changes, are we talking about, changing political grounds and legal grounds for cryptocurrency? Are we potentially talking about how we can help cryptos is all focused on helping smaller businesses, middle-sized businesses have a chance to compete with the big giants out there like Walmart. How are we going to help that kind of change?
Well, okay, so when you talk about change, that's very broad and it does cover lots of things.
Yeah.
So yes, it is the legal side. It is, the coming regulations, but it's also, like I said earlier, the public image that has to change. And the only way that's going to change is when people understand the virtues behind cryptocurrency and what that technology brings to the table, what problems it solves.
Right.
So, when we're looking to make changes, it's in many different areas.
Right. Sounds good. All right. So you talked about the bad public image. So things like Bill Gates, being all bullish on crypto and then flipping his script and saying it's going to be used for drugs and laundering and crime and child trafficking and stuff. But the thing I have to state, and a lot of people that aren't in cryptocurrency don't realize this, is that US dollars are used for far, far, far more crime and far more child trafficking and other things that are horrible in this world than potentially any crypto ever will be used for, because there's ways for us, other than a few privacy coins, to know what's going where, and maybe not knowing who, but knowing where it's going. We kind of track the money. It has a little bit more of a public ledger. It's distributed ledger. It's public. We can all see it. So in terms of that, do you agree with people like Bill Gates? Or are you trying to refute what he's trying to say and actually say, you know what, you were right the first time, but now you're kind of off kilter a little bit?
Well, how do you think they tracked down those Russian hackers?
Yep.
They followed the blockchain. Yep. So had they been using cash, they wouldn't have these problems.
It's true.
So, there's this false narrative that's been beat into people's heads. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that all they know is what they've heard from some pundit somewhere saying one thing or another negative about cryptocurrency. But the facts are that there's nothing that has been said negative about cryptocurrency that cannot be said about cash.
Yep.
And some of that stuff is even maybe a little fairy dust on it.
Well, I mean, all I can go back to is thinking about El Chapo and all the cash that they found in that house of $2 billion of cash. I mean, that alone just shows you what's going on. And then you also see all these guys that are apparently hackers or dark web guys. I mean, I live in Thailand. We caught a guy in Thailand 4 months ago who had 100,000 Bitcoins on the dark web, and they are now not in the dark web. So there are obviously ways for them to track and catch these guys. I mean, they caught those guys that did the $3 million heist for the OTC that happened over the weekend or at the end of last week. So these things are obviously getting figured out. And so I think it's just less knowledge, less people doing research, and more people just believing what they hear. What do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, I read about Pablo Escobar spending $2,000 a month on rubber bands to wrap up his cash.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a dead horse beating it in about how cryptocurrency, you can't do anything. Well, I'll just say that everything they've said about cryptocurrency that's bad, you can say the same thing about cash. But what is a budding art is tracing the blockchain and going after criminals. And I would like to see the crypto community help law enforcement go after, child pornographers and human traffickers and drug dealers, because if we help them do that, then I could see legitimacy coming in a whole lot faster towards, I guess, the public view, the government's view of the crypto community.
Awesome. All right. So just a last little bit before I let you go. Why does the name of the organization separate digital assets and cryptocurrency?
Well, looking forward, I think it's pretty clear for people that are very well versed in cryptocurrency that not all of these are currencies. There's some of them that are just straight up securities. There's some that are commodities. And those two categories are going to be digital assets. The cryptocurrencies are going to be used for actually, trading value, paying for items. And so I think as this matures, we're going to see kind of a split into three parts.
Mhm.
And that's currencies, commodities, and then securities. And so that's why we kind of decided to split up digital assets from currencies.
Well, don't we already have that right now? We have cash, we have stocks, right?
Right?
Stocks is security, cash is cash. It's a currency. So all we're doing is just switching.
Oil's a commodity,
Yeah, and we have commodities too, like orange juice and other stuff like that, oranges and gold.
Right.
And yeah, so there's definitely all three of them now. We're just kind of changing it into something better.
Pretty much.
I think that's the one of the main goals of IDACCA is showing people that it's actually not as difficult or as different than the old system. It just makes it more honest. And I think that the old people in the old system that aren't very honest are scared because they're going to get obviously outed. Anything that was going on before that was wrong, if it's on a distributed ledger that's public, very hard to forge those and fake them and change books. And what will end up happening is companies and people will be more honest in society. And I think that's the really big key point of cryptocurrency that is being completely missed out on is it's going to make society more honest and more fair and give more people a chance to be somebody if they didn't have that opportunity before.
Right. And, there's been some lessons we've already learned. I mean, getting a bank, for example, was quite challenging because found out very quickly that saying cryptocurrency inside of a bank is akin to saying bomb in an airport.
Yeah.
But we did partner with a bank that the CFO of the bank told me that he can easily see where in 5 to 10 years they will actually be integrating cryptocurrency and digital assets into the products that they offer. And they are hoping that we will be able to help them when that time comes. And that's really the whole purpose of getting this group together. That's the part of the advisory board that we hope to put together is once we get contacted by a business that says, hey, we want to integrate this, but it's going to cost a lot for developers. We want to be able to be in a position to provide those developers. Because once we give places, where there's transactions, we start increasing transactions, then we've accomplished what we set out to do.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much, David, for meeting with me.
Thanks for having me, Joel.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing where IDACCA goes and where it heads to. And it seems like you've already got your foot in a couple of the oceans and lakes out there in terms of, talking with Congressman Brady and talking to academics at universities and stuff. So it seems like we're well on the way to having IDACCA becoming a legitimate government organization that will basically be the NRA for crypto, but worldwide and not just United States wise. And people like cryptocurrencies in terms of worldwide more than they do like guns. So it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're taking a proven model and applying it to cryptocurrency. And so,
what it is.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited, and I think we just need to see this bull run start to spark off, and then all of a sudden, all these people will come back to the crypto scene, and they'll be coming to people like us and going, "How do I do it?" And we'll be there for them. We're getting ready before that even happens. So,
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
All right. Well, I'll speak to you later. I hope you have a great day. And everyone, this is IDACCA. Learn and read about it. There's a website that's going to be launching very shortly or already launched. Is it already launched?
Yes. Yep. IDACCA.org.
IDACCA.org. So go check it out, guys. You'll see some of the members of the board. You'll see, you get to learn a little bit about what we are about. And join the Facebook group IDACCA as well, because it's there for you to join. And there's some cool articles getting posted daily, so you can learn a little bit about what's happening in crypto. So Thank you very much. Coach K
Thank
out
you,
for the
Bill.
night. And you guys have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you guys soon. See you later, David. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.